Welcome to tonight's Read by Candlelight event. We hope you enjoy this evening's program and support those sponsors who have generously supported us. Tonight's program is meant to highlight illustrious Proctor High School graduates and celebrate their achievements. The people you see tonight just scratch the surface of successful Proctor alumni. We have a proud tradition. Reed decided to also celebrate a future alumnus. Josh Larson will be a 2021 Proctor High School graduate. He is the school board liaison to the Board of Education, and his accomplishments are many. He has sung the national anthem at a variety of activities. Reed is honored to have him sing for us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the Star-Spangled Banner, as sung by Josh Larson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, now bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that the flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Wow, you look great. You're all dressed up for book club, but where are the candles and where's your glass of wine?
I have my wine, but book club, candles? What are you even talking about?
The Read by Candlelight.
Yes, tonight is our annual Read by Candlelight event.
What? I thought it was canceled because of the pandemic. So we changed it to book club and wine.
No, Lynn, I know you had to miss a few meetings, but the event is tonight.
So you mean there could be several hundred people watching us right now?
Perhaps even more, yes.
Well, this is awkward.
Lynn, don't you remember the live stream program we created with illustrious PHS alumni sharing their success stories, famous Proctor musical groups, and of course, our generous sponsors? Rails TV was instrumental in putting this together.
Well, of course, I remember all that. It was going to be a great program and last about 90 minutes or so. I was so excited to see it.
Well, as soon as our introduction is finished, we will stream it.
Oh.
Hi, ladies. Are you ready for tonight's event?
Sure am. I'm ready, but guess what, Sherm? Lynn thought it was canceled.
Oh, Lynn, have you spun yourself into a cocoon that you just are oblivious as to what's going around you this last couple of weeks? We have a great, fantastic auction in the making. It's been online already for 5 days. Oh, I keep tripping over some of the stuff that I haven't brought down the auction company. Oh, there's the Gibson guitar right there, which really is going for like being valued at $1,600. There is many restaurant offers. One of the ones being Sammy's Pizza in West Duluth.
Yum.
Jake Benson offered up a 3-year subscription to the Proctor Journal.
3 years?
Wow. And then we have an original John Payton painting.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's beautiful.
I thought you would think so. And then what else we got here? This is only a few of the 75 items. We have right here a brand new shotgun.
Watch out, cowboy.
Yep. And then we have a $190 bottle of Don Perignon champagne. Don
Perignon.
Au contraire, it is a bottle of Don Perignon champagne.
There you go. That's
Ooh.
And then finally, if you remember at this time last year, one box containing 96 rolls of double ply white toilet paper.
ain't
That
the
would've
cheap
come-
stuff.
No, that would have come in handy.
And but to get one of these valued articles or items, the bidding closes at 10 o'clock tonight. 10 o'clock tonight. And to access the bidding, you have to go to twinportsbid.com. Twinportsbid.com. And it goes till 10 o'clock tonight. But after that, you snooze, you lose. And so that should do it. Just keep remembering that website.
Hey, guys,
Hey, Rock.
have I missed anything?
No.
LB, I know you dress in a unique way, but what's with the jammies?
Well, I thought the event was canceled, Rory, so I am reading by candlelight.
Well, get off the Zoom and get dressed. This is going to be a great evening and a lot of fun.
Okay.
So, Lynn, by the way, what are you reading?
Well, because I thought it was going to be canceled, I've been reading How to Create a Successful Fundraiser During a Pandemic.
Folks, I'm so glad that you are with us tonight. We have prepared an entertaining show. We're not necessarily Hollywood producers, but I think you're going to enjoy it. Sit back and relax in your jammies if you want, and help us celebrate the greater Proctor area. Remember, the bidding closes at 10 o'clock, twinportsbid.com. We'll be back halfway through the show, and to give you a brief intermission.
Bye.
See ya.
READ's success depends on the generosity of donors to fulfill its mission of funding grants for projects in the academics, arts, and athletics. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to our Platinum sponsors who contribute $1,000 or more in goods, services, or direct donations. Our Platinum sponsors include longtime sponsor, Reliable Insurance Agency, in memory of Beverly Danaski; Proctor Public Schools, where we educate, engage, and inspire; Northland Country Club, Duluth's premier golf club; and Focus on Living, where our clients' safety, health, and well-being come above all else. From the greater Proctor community and the thousands of lives you have enriched, READ would like to say thank you.
This guy is a 1968 Proctor grad, so he is 70 years old. Married to Sally for 46 years. They have 4 children and 11 grandchildren. He is a former mayor of Proctor, former Minnesota State representative. If you want to know more about this guy, go to Wikipedia and look him up, because that could take a half hour. This guy is selfless, and that is why he will talk about a friend of all of ours, Terry Egerdahl. It is an honor for me to introduce a friend of mine and a friend to all, John Ward.
Thank you, Rory, for those kind words. Good evening, Proctor Rails and REA3D supporters. What a great evening and event. You are hearing from some remarkable and accomplished Proctor Rail alumni. It is my honor and pleasure to share with you tonight about another Proctor High School grad who accomplished so much in his short life. His name is Terry Egerdahl. Many of you have likely attended a football game, baseball game, or soccer game at the Terry Egerdahl Memorial Field. But do you really know who Terry Egerdahl is, and more importantly, what he did? There are many of us who knew, respected, admired, and loved Terry Egerdahl. For those of you that don't know him so much, my goal tonight is for you to get to know him and what made him so special to all of us. Many of the comments tonight are from Terry's family, neighbors, friends, teammates, and co-workers. Terry Egerdahl was born on December 4th, 1953. He died on December 15th, 1980 at a pickup basketball game at the young age of 27 years old. Terry was born to Marcia and Lloyd Egerdahl. He had two brothers, Gary and Dick, who both were remarkable athletes in high school, college, and even professionally. Terry married the love of his life, Penny Bortson. Everyone that knew Terry loved and admired Terry. As a young kid in Proctor, he was known as Peeny. That was his nickname, Peeny Egerdahl. And Peeny excelled at every athletic event that he did, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, golf, track, or whatever it was, he excelled at everything. During his high school years, Terry led his teams to the state tournament playoffs in football and basketball. He then went on to UMD and played football under the legendary coach, Jim Molosky. Coach Molosky said Terry Egerdahl was one of the best athletes and most gifted athletes that I have ever coached. Terry broke nearly every football record at the University of Minnesota Duluth. After graduation, Terry was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings. He made it to the final cuts where he lost his bid to being a Viking to a guy named Sammy White. Do you remember him? He is a Hall of Famer for the Minnesota Vikings. The next year, Terry tried out at the Chicago Bears, where he again did not make it. His many accomplishments, records, Hall of Fame inductions, and athletic excellence is not what or why Terry Egerdahl was admired, respected, and loved. Terry was the most humble, caring, giving, and kind soul you could ever imagine or ever have met. That is why he is so special to all of us who knew him. Eggs came back home to Proctor to work in our community and our schools. He also became the head football coach. I was fortunate to be one of his assistants. He, Peeny, Terry, Eggs, Coach Egerdahl came back to Proctor to make a difference in our community and, more importantly, our children. Here are some of the comments that I heard about Terry Egerdahl as I was doing some research on Terry. And these are quotes from many of his acquaintances. I quote, Terry always pulled for the underdog. Terry went out of his way to make people feel better. Coach Egerdahl helped me make it through high school. Peeny took care of us neighborhood kids. He took us everywhere. If we needed sporting equipment, he bought it for us or he made it for us. Terry taught me to be tough and to do my best. He expected me to try hard and never give up. Peeny played everything with us: football, basketball, baseball, and boot hockey. Coach Egerdahl was bigger than life. He was my idol and my hero. Terry loved to fish and hunt, and every spring, Terry and myself and 2 other guys went on a week-long trip to Canada. One spring, one of the guys that usually went with us broke his heels, both of his heels and his feet. And he said that he couldn't go that year because he couldn't get around. Terry told that guy, his name was Bud, he said, "Bud, you're going, and I'm going to carry you from the boat to the car, to the camper, and then back to the boat again." That tells you a lot. And he did that, by the way. And that tells you a lot about who and what Terry Eardahl is. Terry had lots of Proctor pride. He bled green. He never forgot where he came from and was thankful for growing up in this great community and going to the great schools and having the great teachers and coaches at Proctor High School. So next time that you are at the Terry Eardahl Memorial Field, remember one of the people who made that beautiful facility available for our children today. And tell him, thanks, Eggs.
In the 1970s, Daniel J. Cox was a student at Proctor High School, and who, like most, could only imagine what the future would behold. And while a family business would offer a pathway to an attractive vocation, his passion turned to the art of photography. Upon graduation, with little more than a smile, he approached the premier Grand Mason studio in Duluth, asked to be taken on as a student. With numerous similar requests before him, from those on paper far more qualified, they were denied. Dan's sincerity and passion so struck the owners that they were willing to give him a chance. For more than 40 years, Dan has been pursuing his lifelong dream of photographing nature in all its elements. He's traveled to all 7 continents, plying his craft in search of the images that help tell the stories that inspire his art. Driving rain, splitting snow, and howling wind are all part of the environment he calls home. In 2013, Dan was awarded Outstanding Nature Photographer of the Year by the North American Nature Photography Association and has been the recipient of numerous other awards worldwide. His work has been featured in several galleries, and he is the sole photographer for more than 20 books. His most personally satisfying accomplishments include 2 cover stories for National Geographic magazine and his current volunteer work as director of the Arctic Documentary Project for Polar Bears International. Daniel J. Cox.
Greetings, everybody. I'm Daniel Cox from Natural Exposures, and I'm a 1978 Proctor graduate. And I've been donating some of my work as a professional photographer to the READ program that Proctor sponsors every year. And I've been doing that, I don't know, it's probably going on about 5 years. I've been earning a living as a professional natural history photographer and now a cinematographer as well for literally 40 years, and working with publications such as National Geographic, Time Magazine, Audubon, and any number of other natural history publications around the world. And so I wanted to just share with you the importance of helping support this unique program that the Proctor education system is doing each year called READ. They asked me if I wouldn't mind sharing just kind of a short little video about what it is I do and why I do it and how important my education at Proctor was to being able to accomplish my goal in life of becoming a wildlife and natural history photographer, traveling the world, documenting nature, wildlife, and science. Like we've all experienced in life, there's people that become important elements of our success. And one of those people that were inspirational and kind of starting me down the path of wildlife, natural history, and specifically photography was Mr. Glenn Sorensen, who was my photography teacher and a biology teacher. And Mr. Sorensen actually inspired me to do a project trying to document the homeless people in Duluth. Spending a good amount of time documenting these people was really a great opportunity to see what it takes to put a long-term effort into an ongoing project. Many of the things that I do today are long-term documentary projects on wildlife and nature. So Mr. Sorensen was very instrumental in sending me down that path and developed my passion for photography. He also was instrumental in opening my eyes to a part of the world that I had never thought of, and that was the far north in Canada. The year I graduated in '78, I was going to accompany Mr. Sorensen and his wife to northern Canada, where we were going to start a canoe trip on Lake Winnipeg, paddle up to the Churchill River, paddle down to the Hudson Bay and Churchill, Manitoba, and take a train back to Winnipeg. As is often the case, life intervenes and Mr. Sorensen's wife got pregnant, and we never did do that trip. But it opened my mind to a really amazing and unique place where I heard there were polar bears and lots of wildlife. And I have since now spent almost 25 falls and summers in the Churchill region documenting wildlife and nature, in particular polar bears, for Polar Bears International. I'm actually the director of what we call the Arctic Documentary Project. Most of my work is based out of the Churchill region on Hudson Bay. So it's just kind of serendipity, I guess, that Mr. Sorensen introduced me to this place. We never got to it, but it was so intriguing to me that I kept it in my mind, and eventually I got there on my own, and I've been going there for almost 30 years. The other person that was very instrumental in my life at Proctor High School was Bruce Watkins, who was in charge of drama and responsible every year for the plays that Proctor put on. And Mr. Watkins was really encouraging in helping me become confident in front of a camera, up on stage. And it was these things that we did in drama class that gave me the ability to stand up on a stage and talk about my work that I later started producing in the wildlife world and giving presentations to crowds of hundreds of people. It also encouraged me for what I'm doing now. I have a YouTube channel called Natural Exposures TV that I do these types of presentations and talk about equipment and wildlife and nature and the stuff that I'm doing in the field, that once again, having been up on stage and learned through my time at Proctor High School how to present myself and feel comfortable. So those are two very important people in my life going through high school, and I'm encouraged that if you're watching this, you've got interest in donating to this important program that Proctor does each year called READ. And I hope that my success being able to earn a living at a very unique and different occupation that was the dream of my life encourages you to support quality public education through the READ program and encourage young people to do things that are maybe outside the box. I'm in Yellowstone National Park waiting for a pack of wolves. It's called the Wapiti Pack, and they've been in this area now for about a week. They're way off in the distance, but when they get up, they can come a little closer, and I have actually optics that help me get pictures at this long distance. I thought this was a good time to create this little video and to share with you some of the people that have been important in my life to give me the chance to do what I really love to do. So thanks for joining me. Support the READ program, and I'll see you on YouTube. Well, it's been a couple hours now since I've been out here watching these guys. And they're starting to get restless. They're starting to get up and move around. They've all kind of gotten up and turned towards the camera, so we're getting a little better video footage of them.
Mike Birkeland graduated in 1984 from Proctor High, later married and became the patriarch of a very musical family. One can only imagine the sounds in the household as sons Derek and Adam and daughter Sarah Mae strive to become highly adept at playing a variety of string instruments. In 2013, they melded together to form their bluegrass band that has since performed in a variety of venues and festivals. And while Dad remains the leader, we can't help but say the kids are no longer playing second fiddle. Get your foot a-stompin' to Sarah Mae and the Birkeland Boys.
Just passing through. My treasures are laid up somewhere beyond the blue. Angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. from guilt and sin I know. I'll trust his saving grace while traveling here below. I know he'll welcome me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Just over in the glory land, there'll be no dying there. The saints are shouting victory and saving everywhere. I hear the sweetest praise from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do? The angels beckon me from heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. No, I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Thank you.
Thank you to our gold sponsors who have contributed $500 or more in goods, services, or donations. Scott Whitty and John Evans to honor 7th and 8th grade girls basketball. Hamp Freedy, a professional association. The Freiberger Law Firm. Johnson Wilson Constructors. Sherman Louise Carlson. And St. Luke's. On behalf of Reed and our greater Proctor community, thank you.
Lynn Dart Nelson is a proud 1966 Proctor High School graduate. Post-high school, she attended UMD and ran a successful business in Two Harbors. After a personal financial situation, she became determined to enter a traditionally male world and learn about investments. She became a registered investment advisor and insurance agent. In her business, Lynn assumes the role of educator as she teaches her clients about investing by using a concept management system. To quote Lynn, "It's not hard and not just for the rich. Investing is for everyone." Lynn has traveled widely, and to spend some time with her discussing her journeys is inspirational. Lynn has been a longtime Reed supporter, and her table filled with classmates at our annual candlelight dinner is always a highlight of our event. Each person receives a special gift, and laughter flows freely. Her benevolence is far-reaching, and in 2001, she established the Robert Dart Family Scholarship. Since that date, she has awarded 18 $500 scholarships to deserving young women. Granting the scholarship is only a part of her legacy. Each grant recipient also receives a book. Those works have included To Kill a Mockingbird, Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, and books written by the late Honorable Ruth Bader Ginsburg. During my recent visit with Lynn, she presented me with a box of Russell Stover chocolates and the book, Younger Next Year for Women. I feel privileged to introduce a most generous woman, Lynn Dart Nelson.
My journey begins as a 5-year-old, getting on the school bus where I enjoyed time with my classmates, Linda Soderberg and Denny Nettleton. We are being brought to Summit School. I was at Summit School from kindergarten through the 6th grade. I recall my elementary school teachers as warm, kind, and helpful. 5th grade was the start of weekly swimming lessons. We at Proctor swam weekly until the 10th grade. I assumed all kids had that advantage, realizing later many students did not even have a swimming pool. Therefore, I believe Proctor kids are wonderful swimmers. 7th grade was Jedlicka Junior High School, a new shiny building with new classmates from Bayview, Pike Lake, Munger, and Caribou Lake. We became teenagers in 7th grade, which opened the door to activities and adventures. In 9th grade, the kids from St. Rose joined us. We were now the entire class of 1966. And I met my lifelong friend, Mary Stonage. Proctor became the place where I made lifelong friendships. 10th grade at Proctor was high school, a new building. However, it was very old. I want to highlight 3 teachers. The first being Mr. Jim Meldy. Mr. Meldy was our choir director. For the next 3 years, I enjoyed every day of class. He wrote in my Proctorian, "Is there anything you can't do?" As a student, I felt supported and encouraged by the impact he made on me. I am forever grateful. In 11th grade, I met Mrs. Alice Hippica. She was my history teacher. Because of Mrs. Hippica, I have been and continue to be a lifelong history enthusiast. When I was at UMD, I had the wonderful advantage of being a summer student at Tel Aviv University, studying biblical archaeology. I strongly believe without Mrs. Hippica's history guidance and her wonderful teaching skills, I would not have taken this path. In 11th grade, Proctor had a class. It was called Speech. It was taught by Mr. James Bernard. The class consisted of juniors and seniors. I know speech class has impacted my career more than any other class I could have taken. A number of years ago, I chose to study and become a financial advisor. Learning from Mr. Bernard's knowledge and guidance, I was able to pursue my message with public speaking. Throughout my career, I was and still am able to confidently speak to organizations, classrooms, and people about the importance of investing. I am so thankful Proctor offered speech class to me and to many others. In closing, our class motto, "Cool cats, neat chicks," were the class of '66. In 2001, I was meeting with my friend Dr. Diane Rauschenfels. I told her of one of my dreams. I had taken a class at UMD, and it was entitled Women's Studies. It was a 5-credit class, and it was hard and serious. And from that class, I wanted someday, when I was dead, to have a scholarship in my name. Well, Diane said, "What are you waiting for?" And I said, "Well, Diane, I don't have a whole lot of money." She said, "It doesn't matter, Lynn. It's important to start. Start your dream." And so in 2001, that's what I did. I created the Robert Dart Family Scholarship for women, for graduating seniors at Proctor. It has been my joy to give out the check along with some books to the young women, and also having the opportunity at the scholarship program to talk, and talk I do, and I share my thoughts, feelings, beliefs of Proctor, and how blessed I am to have been a part of this school, and I thank you.
When READ began in 2000, its mission was to fund projects in the academics, arts, and athletics throughout the greater Proctor community that were not traditionally funded by the school district. Since we began awarding grants in 2007, READ has awarded more than $80,000 to worthy grantees. The photos you are viewing provide a small sample of how your donation dollars are put to work. Although we may not be perceived as a wealthy community, we are indeed rich in Proctor pride, community spirit, innovation, educational opportunities, and generosity. This past spring, READ expanded its scope and challenged students to submit their work regarding their experiences living through a pandemic. We received outstanding submissions and awarded $1,100 and $100 individual scholarships to students. In addition, this fall, in response to the need for student support, READ hired an outstanding teacher to teach K-2 students of essential workers at the indoor turf facility. Through your generous response from our fall newsletter, we were able to provide our district's youngest learners with the support and guidance they needed during this unprecedented time. We are so fortunate to hire this valued educator. Fellow teachers, staff members, and students all sung her praises. Although we could just tell you about her, we will let her describe her experience. READ is proud to present this valued educator, Mrs. Jenna Kelly.
Hello everyone, my name is Jenna Kelly, and I was most recently hired to teach kindergarten through second grade at the child care for Proctor School District, and this child care was for children of Tier 1 essential workers. To begin, I want to say how honored I am and grateful for this position. I'm grateful to the READ program for thinking about these students that were attending childcare and the support that they would need to succeed in the challenges of distance learning. During my time teaching at the childcare, there were two different locations in which I taught. One of them was at the indoor turf arena, and the other was at Bayview Elementary School. We were at the indoor turf arena for the majority of the hybrid learning model. And then once we were in full distance learning and there was nobody at the school, the childcare switched over to Bayview Elementary, which is where I was. And this is important because throughout my time, I was constantly shifting the model of how I was engaging with the students. I went in with a completely different mindset about what I was going to do and what I thought I was going to do, and I had all these ingenious lesson plans, and I slowly came to realize that I had to reel myself in a little bit and focus my efforts on really supporting these children succeeding with their distance learning. When we switched to a full distance learning model, and all of the students went to Bayview for the childcare, we were in more of a classroom setting. And so naturally, it was just within my instinct to create more of a classroom learning experience, which was not really a possibility at the other venue. One of the things that I always tried to do from the first day that I was there was to give every child an equitable, fair experience to succeed in their learning. The school district started and planted the seed by giving every single child a brand new Chromebook device in which they could access the learning platform that they were using called Seesaw for the kindergarten through second grade students. I took it then as my responsibility to help these students access what they were given through Seesaw, access their teacher, access their education, and give them the tools necessary to support them. So here's what a typical day looked like for these kindergarten students when they arrived at school. If they arrived prior to 9 o'clock, which was when their morning meeting started, they were given a few options. They walked in the door, they put their things away, they brought their backpack, they brought their backpack to the spot that they were going to sit at for the day. They had a learning area that was distanced from other students, that had been cleaned for them, and that they could set up. They would take out their Chromebook and their headphones, and then they had the option of playtime, which usually they would. I had a few students that wanted to sit and get to work right away, or I had some students that had some educational games on their computer that they wanted to play, but I really encouraged them to use the time to play with others, and most of them did. And then at about 9 o'clock, just a little before, I did a little call, and they knew it was time for their morning meeting. So they would put their things away, they would go to their Chromebooks, and I would support them in getting connected to their morning meeting with their classroom teacher. Now, there are 4 different kindergarten teachers, so there were 4 different classes that I was helping these students get connected to. Some of them were very independent. I am blown away by how quickly children adapt. Being able to log into a computer, find their class, connect to a Google Meet. There are adults that have a hard time with this concept, and these little kindergartners were able to figure it out. Some of them, of course, needed help. There were things from, I can't hear in my headphones because I didn't realize it wasn't plugged in, or I locked myself out of my computer because I hit, 3 buttons in a row. All of these things that we as adults have issues with, and we're expecting our kindergartners to try to overcome independently. So it was important. I sometimes swear that morning meeting time was some of the busiest of my work with the kids in the childcare, just supporting their technical needs. But of course, each teacher also had a different set of things that they were doing that day for the most part. And even though they connected and they were collaborating, today we're going to cover this topic, and this activity, they would always do it in a little bit of a different way. So teacher A their students needed whiteboards and markers, and teacher B, they needed a pencil and 3 different color crayons. Teacher C needed Play-Doh. All of these things, that's what I was there to support these children with. When everyone was finished with their meeting, they would slowly stagger off, and then we would spend some time together, and that's when my teaching really began. We did a variety of things, lots of whole group lesson, reading, but my biggest and I think most important goal was to give these children experiences that they were not able to get through distance learning. Because while distance learning works in a lot of ways, there are challenges that come with teaching kindergarten when you can't be hands-on, when you can't be in the same place to physically help your students. I wanted to try to supplement the things that they were missing. And I'll give you an example. One specific example of this was the day that we acted out Trouble with Trolls. This is a book by Jan Brett. The kindergarten teachers were doing an author study on Jan Brett, so I know the students had been exposed to this story, but we read it again, and this time we acted it out. It gave the students an opportunity to be characters. I was a character. They had so much fun that day. I had so much fun that day, and that was a very specific moment for me because I remember thinking, they're not getting this. This is something that they would do in a kindergarten class, and it's just an impossible thing to accomplish through distance learning. It's not something that comes naturally. You can't interact in this way. You can't become characters and hand somebody another prop over the computer. And there's really value in that kind of learning experience, and I remember that we all had a lot of fun that day, and I walked away feeling like I accomplished something. My whole group lessons and my small group lessons, I really focused on reading and writing. Writing is a very challenging thing in kindergarten. It takes consistent practice to build the skills and that sense of accomplishment to want to try. in a distance learning format, we're asking all of our students to be responsible and to hold themselves accountable when they don't have that teacher constantly enforcing that sense of, this is what you need to accomplish today, this is what you have to do today, are you staying on task? We're expecting the kids to do that for themselves because we're not in the room with them. And for a kindergartner, trying to write it's a big feat. So I really spent a lot of time on writing, working with them, sitting down with them, building that sense of internal accomplishment so that once they start to feel that, they want to try, and they want to try again and again and again. And so that the next time it doesn't take as much encouragement from me, and they start to build that sense of accomplishment and pride and intrinsic motivation to want to do better. And I feel like we were just about getting there when everyone went back to school. So my hope is that they were able to take that, to take all those skills that they had learned and built up and translate that into the classroom. One thing that developed throughout all of this is that I have grown a significant relationship with the kindergarten teachers. I knew them before, but throughout all of this, I had their number, they had mine, and we were in constant communication about how we can continue to develop the skills of these children. And I think that that was so important and played a very critical role in why we were able to succeed with this. I am most proud of the fact that after the first semester, when I was helping with assessments, the teachers all independently came to me and were very excited to share that the students that attended the childcare regularly with me, they were all showing significant positive growth. So overall, I just wanted to share with you a little bit of what my work entailed over the last few months, what I was able to accomplish, and what I was doing with these students. I am very grateful. I know that I said it before, but I want to say it again. I am so grateful to the READ program for seeing the potential, not only in me, but in the circumstances of these children at childcare needing a little bit more support so that they could access their teachers, so they could access their learning, and they could succeed in the tasks that they were being asked to do. And at the end of the day, I hope that I provided them with some fun experiences. I hope that I was able to give them a little sense of normalcy, a little bit of what a normal kindergarten year would look like. And I just really want to express my gratitude to all of you for being here tonight. Thank you for making this a possibility, and thank you for making such a difference in the lives of these children.
Maxie Childs is one of Proctor High School's most beloved musical treasures. The Twin Ports music community also claims her as a diamond and a gem. Maxine has always had a love of music and singing. This talented vocalist began her musical career singing as a young child, performing with the Duluth Accordionaires, and singing throughout her high school years. At one time, she even had the distinction of singing in a group called Maxie and the Rusty Pickups. You gotta love that. Proctor High School is so proud to call Maxine as one of their most talented and accomplished musical alumni, class of 1986. The Maxie Childs Trio is a familiar and well-known musical group that has performed jazz, light pop, and a mix of the golden age at a multitude of area venues. Perhaps their most recognized and popular gigs was the Blackwaters Lounge in Duluth. Maxie Childs, Steve Netzel, along with rotating musicians, wowed audiences 4 nights a week and continues to hold an extremely loyal following. The Duluth News-Tribune reported that, quote, the Blackwaters Lounge wasn't Maxine Childs' living room, but it sure felt like it. During breaks, she was quick to glide off her stool and mingle with the audience, unquote. Their fans were fortunate enough to sit back and enjoy their set list of over 200 songs. Maxie's voice possesses the depth and range that vocalists and music lovers can truly admire and dreamily melt into. Her voice and ultra-classy presence transcend listeners into another time and place, one that drips of elegance and timeless sophistication. It is truly an experience to relish. It is with great pride and pleasure that READ presents to you the Maxie Childs Trio, performing Fly Me to the Moon. So please sit back and enjoy.
Let me see what life is like on Jupiter and Mars and other worlds. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my life with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true.
Thank you, Gold sponsors, for your contributions of $500 or more. Blackwoods Events Center, Ted and Lynn Peterson, Dwight Swanstrom Company, Spirit Valley Agency Incorporated, Barb and Todd Steen, Natural Exposures, Daniel J. Cox, Lynn Dart Nelson, Class of 1966. On behalf of READ and the Greater Proctor community, thank you.
LP, what are you doing?
Well, I'm getting ready for the event. Because we didn't have dinner, I had this glass of wine, but guess what? I decided to get takeout from Blackwoods.
And that is a great idea. Their food is always so good. I picked up appetizers from there tonight too. Remember that meal that they served last year? Oh, and the dessert they donated? It was all from last year's auction. It was so delicious.
Yum.
Yum.
Hey, Sherry, do you want to call Blackwoods and get takeout? They have curbside to go or delivery. These two are making me hungry.
Roller.
Well, Blackwoods has always been a great supporter, and we can't wait to get back in person for this event next year.
You know, I've ordered takeout from our tasting event supporters as well. Just this past week, I ordered from the Thirsty Pagan, love them, and GB Schneider, love them.
And Louise and I always have our Sunday night pizza at Sammy's. We know the number by heart, and when they see the number coming in, they know exactly what the pizza is going to be. And when we want something other special, Barker's Island has just a terrific array of, especially a lot of fish options. And then who can forget the Shack restaurant as they continue to offer their array of smoked meats for our fall tasting event.
You know, just last week, Ted and I ordered from the Zen House, and get this. One night, Connie and I were at the Outback with takeout orders at exactly the same time.
Get out of town.
It happened.
Sherry and I can never decide between Proctor Pizza or the Green Mill. So sometimes we just order from both of them.
Ooh, smart move, Roar. But don't forget about the Bent Paddle, Super One Liquor, and Stokey's. All of them are great options, and Reed is so fortunate to have those businesses who continually support our mission to raise money, to spend money. They are vital to our success.
All this talk about food is making me hungry. Hey, LP, haven't you been watching the program? It's been awesome.
Well, with trying to get ready and eating and having a little glass of wine, I have to admit that I have missed a few speakers.
Oh, no worries, Lynn. You can still catch the last half of the program. But right now, we're going to take a short break from our speakers and entertainers. For the next 5 minutes, we will be showing a little slideshow of some highlights from past events and grant recipients. For our viewing audience, this might be a good time to take a little break, refresh your beverage, get a snack, or even use the restroom.
And folks, if you're wondering about your bids, you can also go to the auction site, www.twinportsbid.com. And you can see how you're doing, but remember, it closes at 10 o'clock tonight. And if you snoozed, you loosed.
If you decide to use this break time, remember that this broadcast will be linked to our REA3D.org website.
What? You mean if I missed part of it, like the first half, I could watch it tomorrow on the website?
Yep, but remember that the bidding closes at 10 o'clock tonight. So if you want to stop getting ready and check your bids, do it now. Hey, I just had another thought. I saved $80 by not having to buy dinner tickets.
Well, Roy, I've got a spot for that $80. Why don't you take that $80, go onto the READ website where there is a donate button, and voila, an $80 contribution to READ.
Wow.
Sherry, would you take out your phone, go to www.read.org and donate the $80 we just saved from not paying for our dinner tonight? READ has a donate button. This night just gets better and better.
And if you want to just watch the 5-minute intermission, you may see yourself or somebody you know. Enjoy, and our entertainment will begin again in 5 minutes.
Bye.
Jody Kiava first appeared on the PHS stage during his junior year. From his humble beginnings, he became a professional actor. Jody has been heavily involved in theater in the Duluth area since 1995 and was most recently named Best Actor in the Reader's Choice Awards. His involvement in theater now includes 6 to 9 productions per year where he has been an actor, writer, director, producer, and sometimes he wears more than one hat at a time. He has done comedy improv in both Duluth and Minneapolis since 1997 with 2 improv shows a weekend year-round. He has taught improv and sketch comedy writing classes and hosted a My 9 television show called Renegade Movie Night for 2 years. In his capacity as a professional actor, Jody has done mock phone interviews for companies interacting with potential employees to see how they can troubleshoot customer interactions. His work with First Witness and the Duluth Police Department's Crisis Intervention Training Program takes the guise of children and has helped individuals learn to interact and interview childhood abuse victims. His work has assisted officers, first responders, shelter workers, and hospital employees as they learn to utilize empathy as a tool for de-escalating situations which involve individuals experiencing a mental crisis. You have probably seen him in television commercials and heard his voiceover work. Most recently, you may have seen him as the Poop Fairy. It is my honor to introduce Proctor High School alum, Jody Kiava.
Imagine that there is a mansion on the edge of town, which you pass every single day of your young life. You know there are great rooms inside, and each doorway contains a new secret. All of the doors inside are readily accessible. However, the grand entrance to the mansion is tightly locked, and there is no getting inside without a key, which you do not have. I passed that mansion every day for 16 years, and one day, Lynn Peterson was standing at the gate and said, "Hey, Buster Brown, I've got the key. Want to look around?" That was one of the most important days of my life, and it was the catalyst for a journey that led to a lot of discovery over the last 30 years. Discovery of artistic mediums and discovery of self. A beautiful symbiotic relationship that I never saw coming. When I finally got the courage to audition for a play at the end of my sophomore year, Lynn saw fit to cast me as an extra to fill in the classroom scenes in a small drama. Over the last 30 years, I've heard many of my colleagues complain about the size or importance of their role, but I felt like she had handed me Hamlet. I was going to be able to touch the world that I wanted to exist in. However, I had also gotten an incomplete in my composition class, which disqualified me from being on stage. Instead of just letting me walk away in disappointment, Lynn offered to let me work the soundboard in the tech booth. This was a big deal. This was the first time anyone gave me a second chance and let me know that I had value despite the mistakes that I had made. If this moment had never taken place, my life would be vastly different. I would have walked away and I'd never tried again because I simply didn't have the confidence in myself. But I came back 4 times over the next 2 years, my responsibilities growing with each new role. And at each performance, I wasn't playing for the audience or myself as much as I was playing for Lynn Peterson, because I wanted to make sure she felt that she got a return on her investment. After graduation, I just fell away from acting. I just worked 40 hours a week and partied with my friends. Until one afternoon, Mrs. P popped up at a grocery store wanting to know if I would like to do a romantic comedy for the Proctor Community Theater. And with that production, I realized that acting was my place and my calling. It was where I made a difference, and it was where I've been working and striving to create ever since. Education is important. Science, mathematics, history, the tools of language. We all agree that these are the building blocks of society. But the arts are sometimes seen, alongside sports, as frivolous. I loudly disagree. The lessons I have taken forth into my life from theater have been among the most important things I have learned. Lynn and Drama Club not only gave me a voice, but it helped me find my voice. I was an odd kid, and most of the time people just looked at me blankly when I would spout out my weird point of view. Luckily, in the arts community, I found a bridge, a means of communicating with others that I did not have before. I found a way to make others understand me And in return, I had to find the things that connected us. The arts introduced me to the idea that we are all built from the same basic building blocks, and that experience and environment reshape those blocks, making us appear different. The job of any good artist is to get inside that character, that piece of clay, that canvas, and understand how it took its shape. By doing that, artists learn empathy, maybe our most powerful tool. Did I know that's what I was learning in high school? No. But did it help shape the way I viewed others or judged them? Most definitely. There was no other way I could grow as an artist than by connecting and understanding others. Without Lynn in the theater, I would have been lonely. I would have been disconnected, and I wouldn't know how to interact with people. The arts gave me strength and confidence and the belief that I had something to contribute to the world. Because of my involvement in the arts, I have made people laugh. I've caused others to question their convictions. Sometimes I've gotten to share what I know, teaching classes that make people feel better about speaking in public or just more comfortable with themselves. I've gotten to give back to the community, working with First Witness to help train people to question and get information from abused children, and to interact with police or first responders to explore new methods of interacting with people suffering from mental illness. And all of these things I've gotten the privilege of calling my job. And that is because of theater and Lynn Peterson. All of my successes have also been yours.
Peggy Mudick Peterson, a 1976 Proctor grad and owner of Proctor Pizza and Casino Pizza. She started the business 34 years ago. Peggy is a selfless person when it comes to helping others and the Proctor community. She donates to many area functions and has always had a kind word for everybody. Proctor Pizza is located on the main drag in Proctor. While there are many pizza places to choose from, no one makes a better pizza than Proctor Pizza. So without further ado, Peggy Mudick Peterson.
Hello everybody, my name is Peggy Peterson. I own Proctor Pizza. I am very honored that you asked me to talk to you today. I grew up in the Proctor area in Bayview Heights. I attended St. Rose School through 7th grade and then Proctor High School 8th through 12th. During high school, I took 2 years of marketing classes. Bill Fish was my teacher. I consider him one of my mentors because he always was giving you different options of what you would like to do in your life. He inspired me to try out different options in retail. I have always enjoyed working in the food industry. During school, I worked at my Uncle Bob's Cafe in Piedmont. After graduation, I worked at LD's Supper Club for 7 years. During that time, my sister and her husband opened a pizza restaurant in Cloquet. I would go there to help them out, and then after a while of helping them, I decided I'd like to start a pizza place of my own. At first, I moved to Brainerd and I opened one there, which I ran for 2 years. But being single at the time and no family or friends around, it was very hard to stay there, so I decided to move back. And at that time, my sister Joan and I decided to open Casino Pizza in Proctor, and that was March 26, 1987. We first started out in a small building where Essentia Health is now. We had the business together for about 2 years before John's husband got transferred with the company that he is working for to South Dakota. At that time, I decided to buy Joan out and go on my own. In 1994, when they put up the new stoplights at the intersection, MnDOT said there would be no access to my building. So that is how I ended up down on Main Street. I changed the name to Proctor Pizza, which I think is more fitting. I love working with the public, especially with my hometown people. I have been able to serve 3 generations of family and being able to be a part of watching their families grow and be a part of this wonderful community. My message to future graduates is follow your dreams, and with hard work and determination, you will be able to fulfill your dreams. Thank you.
Thank you to our gold sponsors for their contributions of $500 or more. Shelton Excavating, Seth Oliver, class of 97, Lake Superior Fishing, class of 85, Troy's Service Center, Sarah Carlson Undum and Gerald Undum, 292 Design Group, the children of Pat Lowe to honor her memory. On behalf of Reed and the greater Proctor community, thank you.
Hello, Proctor. My name is Brian Lee, and I want to thank you for letting me sing a song and bring a donation. 1980 graduate, unbelievable, 41 years ago. You know, the song that I sent you guys is a song that my very first solo in the Proctor School gym for the King and Queen coronation. You know, that just kind of put a little fire under me. Because since then I've done a lot of music, performed at the Wee Fest and the Minnesota State Fair for 11 shows, even sang at the Grand Ole Opry with Lori Morgan. I've done a lot in between. 1989 to 2003, I actually worked for Proctor in the old junior high school for maintenance. And then I started chainsaw carving bears. Moved out to Floodwood. You've probably driven by my place. I'm right on Highway 2. So ever since 2003, so what am I going on? 18 years of chainsaw carving. Self-employed entrepreneur. But anyway, the way this works is I donate a bear, you guys bid it up. So this is a fundraising event. You need to bid it up, make money for Proctor here. All right, so bid it up. Anyway, the song that I sent you guys, I've even got a picture of me singing it, so it's pretty amazing. It's a song that I sang for the King and Queen coronation, and now I just recorded in my little shop out there. So enjoy. It's a Kenny Rogers song, and bid that bear up.
All my life was a paper, once made pure and white, till you moved with your pen, changing moods now and then, till the balance was right. Then you added some music, every note was in place, and anybody could see all the changes in me by the look on my face. And you decorated my life, created a world where dreams are apart, and you decorated my life by painting your love all over my heart, decorated my life. Like a rhyme with no reason, in an unfinished song, there was no harmony, life meant nothing to me until you came along, and you brought out the colors. What a gentle surprise. able to see all the things love can be, shining soft in your eyes. And you decorated my life, created a world with dreams torn apart. And you decorated my life by painting your love all over my heart, decorated my life.
Dr. Catherine Peterson is a proud 1997 Proctor High School graduate. She completed a Bachelor of Science degree in biology and earned her Doctor of Veterinary Medicine from the University of Minnesota in 2007. She went on to complete an internship and residency in small animal emergency and critical care, earning her board certification in small animal emergency and critical care medicine in 2013 and toxicology in 2019. She has been the author of several journal articles and book chapters and was an editor for a toxicology textbook. Dr. Peterson has been involved in teaching veterinary students, interns, and residents, and continues to teach through webinar presentations for veterinary professionals as an emergency and critical care specialist at both the Pet Poison Hotline, Safety Call International, and Blue Pearl Veterinary Partners. She and her husband Dan reside in Saginaw with daughter Julia and their cats, chickens, and dog. Do you want to introduce the doctor? What? You only speak Swedish? You don't look Swedish. Okay, I will. She's your favorite veterinarian. It is with great pleasure that I introduce Dr. Katie Peterson.
I am Dr. Katie Peterson, and I graduated from Proctor High School in 1997, and I went on to become a board-certified emergency and critical care veterinarian and a board-certified toxicologist. I currently work at a poison control center for animals, doing toxicology consults throughout the country, and I work at a specialty hospital in emergency and critical care. Going to a small school like Proctor allowed me to participate, and I was a 3-sport athlete, I was in band, and I was also in drama my senior year. Although I was never going to be a professional in any of those things, they allowed me to learn the value of hard work, perseverance, and working as a team to help achieve goals. I still use those values in my job today. The READ Foundation can provide students with these opportunities by providing equipment, instruments, and also just experiences so that students can learn outside of the classroom and potentially learn these valuable traits. Equally as important to extracurricular activities, I was able to have personal relationships with some of my teachers. I still remember the day in science class when Mr. Sorensen came up to me and said, "Katie, I think you can be a chemist." I had no idea at the time what that would mean in terms of a job, but as a girl, being encouraged to pursue a career in science, that was really important to my life. I think somewhere in the back of my mind, that encouragement was always there as I went to college and started taking courses in science. My initial goal was to go to medical school, but something just didn't feel quite right with that path. And so I, on a whim, got a job at the University of Minnesota College of Veterinary Medicine, since I always liked animals, and just felt like something clicked. There I could combine my love of animals for my love of science and become a veterinarian. Being a veterinarian isn't an easy job, but it is incredibly rewarding. We're expected to kind of be a jack of all trades and learn all different types of species. During veterinary school, I was allowed to work with zoo animals, and even got to participate by doing an echocardiogram on a male gorilla. Granted, he was sedated, but he was still very impressive. I also did a 2-week course in South Africa where I learned game capture and sedation of wild animals and got to draw blood from a wildebeest, and even got to do surgery on a cow as a student. When I went on to do my internship, I mainly worked with dogs and cats, but once in a while we would see exotic animals. And those that stood out were things like a bobcat who came in respiratory distress, a little boy who brought in his turtle and we had to treat it, and I had to teach him to do antibiotic injections in the leg, and a duck that somebody had won at a card game but were now treating for bite wounds because their dog had bitten its wing. I now work with a talented group of veterinarians and veterinary technicians at a specialty hospital, and we treat the sickest of animals, from animals who have complications of heart disease or diabetes, those that ingest toxins, pets that are recovering from surgery, or any variety of wounds, such as bite wounds from other animals, hit by car, and even gunshot wounds. On top of having that knowledge, we have the added burden that our patients can't tell us what's wrong with them. So we do have to rely on not only our medical knowledge, but also owners and giving us a history and our physical exam skills. In addition to that, we're often kind of therapists for owners as they're dealing with either the loss or the stress of their pet being ill. Although I do sometimes get to snuggle with puppies and kittens at work, after my 8 years of schooling and 5 years of additional training, the most rewarding thing for me is treating a really sick pet and being able to send it home with its owner at the end of the day. A small school like Proctor definitely provided me with the tools to succeed academically, as well as instill in me some of those values such as hard work, perseverance, and teamwork. The READ Foundation continues to provide students with those opportunities and educational values. I'm proud to say that someday my own daughter will attend Proctor and receive a rounded education thanks to creative educators in this foundation.
Hi everybody, I have the honor of introducing our next guest. He is a 2012 Proctor High School graduate and has quite the list of accomplishments. He was the 2012 Minnesota State Cross Country Champion, the Gatorade Minnesota Boys Cross Country Runner of the Year, and had 5 top 10 performances at the state track and field meet. He also holds the Proctor High School records for the 3,200 meters and the 4x800. He went on to run for the University of Minnesota and graduated with a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. He went on to the University of Portland to pursue a master's degree and also ran there, helping his team to a second place finish at the 2017 NCAA Cross Country Championship, and he personally finished 20th in the 10,000 meters race at the NCAA Track and Field Championship. In 2019, he qualified for the 2020 United States Olympic Marathon Trials. Currently, he is training to run a sub 4-minute mile, which is crazy, and he offers personalized coaching for athletes through his startup called Run the Process. I'd like to introduce you to Matt Welch.
Hey everybody, my name is Matt Welch. I am a graduate from 2013 from PHS, and I am honored to be speaking here for the READ program, REA3D at PHS. What a tremendous program, and to speak for this grant that can provide opportunity for so many more students to gain greater access to athletics, to art, and to the tremendous academics at Proctor High School. When I think of kind of the moments that have made the biggest ripple effect in my life, is just the support that I received from the staff at Proctor High School, the educators, really. And I can think of, it's funny because in the moment, right, when you're in high school, you kind of roll your eyes at teachers. They give you these nuggets of wisdom that are just absolute gold, and you don't really realize what's within those nuggets, right? The wisdom that lies within, until you have time to digest that, or until you face a moment in your life where you're like, wait a second, Mr. Gilderman said something like this in my a psychology class or sociology class, or Mr. Smith in chemistry class, said that, right? Whatever it was. Like, it's incredible because I feel like now I'm, what is it now? 7 years removed, nearly 8, from my time at Proctor High School. And I still think of these people. I still think a lot of how I felt empowered by them. And one person, and once again, there's many people. I'm sure if I had you as a teacher, if I had a teacher in Proctor, that I learned something tremendous from them. But one individual in particular really moved my life in a direction that I am internally grateful for, and that is Mr. Harnell. He got me excited to be a runner, to really put my best foot forward all the time, and to represent Proctor, right? To represent something larger than myself. It's funny because I still have this photo. It's one of my favorite photos. I don't know if you can see it. Might be a bit of a glare. But we won the section championship my last year in cross country. And this is a phenomenal team. Just a bunch of great guys. My little brother was on the team, Jake. And yeah, it was led and spearheaded by Mr. Harnell. I think of a quote or a saying that Mr. Harnell would always say to us at practice for cross country and track and field is, hard work works. I can't remember if that was originated by Harn or if that was Mr. Gilderman when he was coaching the Mirage hockey team. But regardless, it is and has become one of my life philosophies. If I put in good work, if I am intentional about that work, that the results will follow. Whatever the results that I want to achieve, is that really it's about putting in that work, right? And the work that we don't necessarily love to do, whether that is studying for an exam, whether that is training hills before a workout, or practicing your French horn right before a solo competition. It's really putting in that work, and that's where you can find the most joy and you can learn the most about yourself. I carry around this band, Live Rail Strong. I can't remember who came up with this. I think this is maybe a Harn thing again. Brilliant man, let me tell you. Brilliant man. But this is what we all wore, right, that day when we won the 7A championships. And it still brings me chills, right, just thinking about, right, the effort that all of the team put into it, and just the strength of a Proctor rail. Probably one of my most powerful learning experiences that I gained from Proctor High School is just the belief that I am so much more capable than I ever imagined. And so much of that had to do with the support system, right, from the staff, from my classmates who always encouraged me, always supported me in my athletics, in my academics, but then also the engagement from the community that always reinforced my pride. I followed a fairly untraditional route as a Proctor High School student. I actually lived in East Duluth when I grew up, and I was open enrolled. And I started my schooling at Jedlicka Middle School in 8th grade. I transferred in from Washburn Edison, a charter school, and then progressed through the high school. And I am so grateful for that experience, because if it wasn't for the support that I received, the encouragement that I received, the education that I received, I know that I would not be where I am today. And always remember, live, rail, strong. All right, thanks.
We often receive applications from adults for READ grants. So when we had a student submit an application, the READ board was excited. In 2018, Lucas Leischer submitted a READ grant to construct a Gaga ball pit. Few of us have heard of this form of recreation for kids, so we were intrigued. On his application, he provided a detailed list of materials he would need for his project, and he included the garnered donations he had received from other sources including Super One, Proctor Builders, and Menards. Because this project was built by volunteers, there was no cost for labor. This industrious young man spent over 100 hours planning, securing other funds, and acquiring permission to build the structure. His goal, as he stated on his application, was to help kids learn to play with one another and for educators to use this game to encourage happy connections between children. Lucas is a proud Proctor High School graduate who completed military training this fall and is currently a jet engine mechanic at the 148th. He is also attending UMD with his sights on becoming a pharmacist. Lucas Leisher.
Hello everyone, my name is Lucas Leisher and I'm an Eagle Scout. Today I'm going to be sharing about my experience with the READ grant. So what I did for my project is I built a gaga ball pit at Bayview Elementary. The READ Foundation donated $514 towards lumber and building materials, which covered almost all of my expenses. I chose to build a gaga ball pit at Bayview because it's always a good thing to have more things for the kids to do, and I figured that it would help with team building. And the benefits for this project is that kids can get to know each other better, have more fun, and just get along with each other better. And I wanted to thank the READ grant for giving me money.
Good evening, everyone. So excited that you could be here with us tonight. I'm very pleased to be able to introduce our next speaker, a name many of us runners are very familiar with, may have even run the race so named in his honor. He is a 1969 graduate from Proctor High School, Mr. Gary Bjorklund. As a high schooler, set the Minnesota record for the 1 mile in a time of 4 minutes and 5 seconds. That record held up for over 39 years. Later at the University of Minnesota in 1971 was the national champion in the 6 mile race with a time of 27 minutes and 43 seconds. He was named All-American 5 times over. Did go on for the 1972 Olympics to be a strong contender in the 10,000 meter. Did have to withdraw with a foot injury, but came back in 1976 to be the sole American in the finals at the Olympic Games. There's quite a story of him coming into the U.S. finals back in Eugene, Oregon. You'll have to either find that story or ask him about it if you get a chance. It's quite a story. He did go on for longer distances, and even in his 3rd ever marathon back in Maryland was a course record pace. It's quite amazing. His strongest, fastest marathon here on the Grandma's course with a time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, 20 seconds in 1980. That's quite amazing. We're so pleased to have him back in Proctor with us tonight. Here's Gary Bjorklund.
Hi, my name's Gary Bjorklund. I grew up in Twig and graduated from Proctor High School in 1969. You know, for years I've told people my sisters and I could have attended 4 to 5 other schools that would have been closer or no farther than Proctor. But I thank my lucky stars I was able to attend Proctor. What I learned there changed my life and opened the door for opportunities a Rube from Twig might never have imagined. You know, it's been said you can take the boy out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the boy. Even though my wife, Rhonda, and myself and our 2 daughters live in Colorado, we haven't forgotten our roots. Every year for 26 years, we made an annual trip to Minnesota to visit friends and family. As our 2 weeks came to an end and we started driving west towards Colorado, both of our girls would start to cry and ask, why can't we live in Minnesota? The COVID-19 pandemic has been catastrophic on so many levels, and public education has been hit so very hard. However, I believe our schools will be open and safe again very soon. Over the years, Rhonda and I have sent contributions to support the READ program and the Proctor Area Educational Foundation. I was particularly touched to learn Grand Lake Township offered the old community center as an outlying site for delivering K-2 development of basic reading skills. It happens when I was a little boy. I watched my father help build the fire hall and community center. It makes me so proud to know Proctor School District outreach programs are available to the young children of my hometown. I've been asked to help spread the word about the READ programs that benefit students, teachers, and so many other initiatives that improve the educational experiences for Proctor kids. If we have learned anything from national politics, it's that many small donations can make a huge difference in funding for programs directly affecting educational programs dedicated to supporting lifelong learning within the Proctor School District communities. Please ask your friends and family, coworkers, employers, businesses you support to get behind the READ program. To learn more, you can find information about this program at 131 9th Avenue, Proctor, 55810, or the website REA3D at proctor.k12.min.us. Thank you. Let's have a successful year.
According to Neil Topliff, he was raised by wolves in the North Woods of Minnesota on a 20-acre parcel of land along with his two siblings, Dean and Miley Topliff. The leaders of their pack, Bob and Faye Topliff, wanted music education to be a large part of their upbringing. Neil started piano lessons at the age of 5 and remembered playing on Top of Old Smoky in kindergarten for the rest of his schoolmates at Pike Lake Elementary School. He began playing violin in 4th grade and later played in the orchestra with Miss Wright. He started playing guitar at age 12 when his dad bought a guitar for the 3 kids to share. He remembers crawling behind the Christmas tree and plucking out Christmas songs while looking at the beautiful lights on the tree. He started playing French horn in 7th grade and also joined the handbell choir at his church. He graduated from Proctor High School in 1986, and to make a long story short, the majority of his non-schooling, non-working hours have been spent writing and performing music. His musical journey has taken him around the world, and he is grateful for all the people who have educated, mentored, promoted, and above all, encouraged him to pursue his dreams of creating music. Neil was a founding member of Strike Point, a premier handbell ensemble in Duluth, and a founding member of a hard rock band, Kane's Alibi, that rose to popularity in the Twin Cities area in the late 90s and early 2000s. Currently, he performs in a new band called The Dads. He feels blessed when his music can be used for others in need and is honored to be a part of this special evening. To find out more about this accomplished Proctor High School alumnus, you can visit his webpage at neiltopliff.com. It is READ's privilege to introduce the beautiful music of Mr. Neil Topliff. Roxanne Cox Lingle graduated from Proctor High School in 1979, where she was very involved in school and loved being a part of the many clubs and after-school programs during her high school years. Roxanne sang in the choir, sang jazz band, was president of the pep club, swam on the swim team, and synchronized swim. She wanted to thank her teachers, Mr. Meldy and Mr. Bresa, and also her principal, Bruce Watkins. After graduating from Proctor, Roxanne went on to study music, specifically voice. She studied at Eau Claire University and the Phil Madsen School of Music. After college, Roxanne landed a singing job with the United States Air Force Academy Band, where she got to travel the world, sing for dignitaries including heads of state, governors, and even the president. Today, Roxanne enjoys teaching voice, piano, and several choirs. She has taught at the Colorado Springs Conservatory and has sung commercials for Wendy's, Loaf and Jug, and Everyday Batteries. She has a soft spot in her heart for Proctor and all the wonderful experiences there, and will always be grateful for years of jumping in and finding what possibilities were and not waiting or sitting on the sidelines. Roxanne Cox Lingle.
Your heart beats, you think of me. Love so soft, you're a mystery. Your word speaks life to me, drawing me to you, calling me. You're the lover of my heart, keeper of my soul. You have given life to me, you redeemed me from my past. You're the lover of my heart, keeper of my soul. You have given life to me, you redeemed my soul. You see in me what I cannot see. You breathe new life when breath has left me. You sing to me with tender mercies, and day by day I'm amazed that you are mine and I am yours for always. My heart aches in this place, wanting more of you, needing all of me. My soul faints, your grace waits. God of mercy, you know my name. You're the lover of my heart, keeper of my soul. You have given life to me, you redeemed me from my past. You're the lover of my heart, keeper of my soul. You have given life to me, you redeemed my soul. You see in me what I cannot see. You breathe new life when breath has left me. You sing to me with tender mercies, and day by day I'm amazed that you are mine and I am yours. You see in me what I cannot see. You breathe new life when breath has left me. You sing to me with tender mercies, and day by day I'm amazed that you are mine and I am yours for always.
Well, I see LP is finally dressed. Wasn't that last year's outfit with the buffalo plaid theme?
Only you would notice, Rory, being the fashion icon that you are.
You know, I had forgotten that we had so many talented and accomplished people in Proctor, and we really have just scratched the surface.
And let's not forget about our generous donors. Because of them, we are able to fundraise and fund worthy projects.
And that's right. This fall, READ raised $8,000, and we were able to hire Jenna Kelly, thanks to our generous community outpouring of support.
If you ever want to check out more about what READ does, visit our website at www.rea3d.org, and you can see how we have put your funds to work. If you like what you see, consider a donation.
And we are truly grateful for this great community and those who support us.
Wasn't this night cool?
It was cool. I hope you all enjoyed yourself. I know I did.
Well, I see that your wine glass is empty.
Oh.
You know, our philosophy at READ is that with your support, the glass will never be empty. We will continue to fund and support worthwhile grants.
And if you do have an idea, contact READ. We raise money to spend money. Thank you for the continued support. Remember that the bidding closes at 10 p.m. and remember to support the sponsors who support the greater Proctor community. Thank you for joining us tonight. Next year, we hope to see you in person. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Night.